Welcome back to Questions You Never Thought to Ask, the Whitewater Kayaking Podcast. I'm Seth Ashworth, and this week I'm joined by man, myth, and Mexican legend, Rafa Ortiz. Rafa, thanks for joining us.
Yeah, dude. Thanks for having me on the podcast.
And we're just going to get straight into it. A lot of people fired up about it. You were recently on fire. I don't know how recently you filmed it, but you recently released a video where you were on fire going off a waterfall.
Yeah, dude. We filmed that. It was good. We filmed that at the end of last year. It's like a crazy project, something I've been wanting to do for a bunch of years, actually. After watching Burning Time when I was a kid, it's something I really wanted to like remake. So yeah, finally last year I got GoPro fired up on the project, so they were able to come up with a budget, and we got these crazy fire specialists from Hollywood, basically. And yeah, so last year we made it happen, and it was pretty awesome.
And what does it feel like to be on fire? I think that's what a lot of people wanted to know. It was like, WTF.
Yeah, well, it was insane, actually. Like the first time that we tried it we just tried it like in the parking lot first, so that like there's like a learning curve to this, like first it was like, okay, we got to go baby steps. So yeah, ever since like the first time they lit me on fire, it was like way beyond my expectations. Like, I've played a little bit with fire before. I do a little bit of a fire poi. Well, I used to do when I was younger, but I thought that it would be something kind of like that. But honestly, like this is crazy because the fire is like you're literally on fire, like yourself. It's not away from you. It's like directly on your body. So it's crazy how fast it starts getting hot, how, it's overwhelming. You can't breathe. It's just like a crazy experience. Like I definitely have a new fear for fire.
Yeah, no doubt, man. It was pretty wild. Just when I saw the video, I was like, oh my God, that is like legit on fire, like all around him, not just like a little flare attached to you or anything. I was stout. A couple other stunts you've been involved in, including lobstering off a waterfall.
Hell yeah, that's one of my favorites for sure. I claim the world record for the biggest inflatable pool toy waterfall ever run.
I mean, yeah, it's just like it seems like there's no limit to the amount of stupid stuff that you're able to get done in a kayak. But you're such a sick kayaker. Why do you keep? Do you think that it's like this is what it takes to raise awareness for kayaking? Is these like out to lunch, like being on fire, lobster stunts for more people to like pay attention to whitewater kayaking?
I don't think that's my particular approach to this. I've just been in the past couple of years just looking for creative new angles of doing cool stuff, and just kind of like ticking away like all these ideas that I've had for a while. And yeah, the lobster was just another, crazy idea. Like, how can we do something like comedy, that's funny, that's, it is kind of serious on one hand, but it's more of just like a comedy twist, where it's just like, for me, it's more like an expression of like, in the end, what we're trying to do in our kayaks is it's kind of funny in the end too. We're very serious about our sport, and in the end, we're just floating down the river in Tupperware containers,
Yeah, for sure.
So yeah, like that's kind of that was kind of like the whole purpose of the lobster stunt.
Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong. I think like all these things you're doing are great, and it's a really great way to increase exposure for everyone. For whitewater kayaking to see, like, even if they maybe come to see it because you're a man on fire going off a waterfall, but afterwards they'll stay to keep checking in on it because they're interested in it. And they want to see what it's all about. But yeah, ultimately, I guess we're just all down here in our Tupperware containers, all right?
Yeah.
All right, let's talk Chasing Niagara for a bit. The feature film you did with Rush a couple of years ago. You spent a lot of time preparing for it, and really a lot of time in the town of Niagara. I think what a lot of people really want to know is, what's your favorite place to eat there? What's the best bar, nightclub, strip club, whatever?
Ooh, there's a bunch of different options there. I definitely remember spending a bit of time on Margaritaville there. There was a bunch of restaurants. Honestly, Niagara it's kind of a crazy place. If you've never been there, I mean, I recommend it, but at the same time I don't. It's a good place to go see for once, but it's kind of messed up, honestly, how like Mother Nature meets Vegas, like consumism world. And yeah, it's kind of crazy for sure. But yeah, definitely we spent a lot of time there. I kept going back and back and back there, and yeah, there's definitely good joints there. That's the cool part about the tourist part of it, that there's amazing options for being around there. But yeah, nothing too special.
It's definitely like the Las Vegas of Canada. I think it's like, yeah, kind of wild, out to lunch, like right there with the big waterfall, and then it's like you drive away and then it's like nothing for miles and miles and miles.
Yeah, it's bad, dude. It's funny because
Yeah.
it's so much like Vegas in that style, right? But I don't know. In my kayaker perspective, I think, I don't know. It's kind of heartbreaking, Like I'd rather go to a place like Iguazu, for example. The big waterfalls of Iguazu down in South America are amazing because they're just like pristine. They've built these amazing walkways to access them to give that opportunity to tourists, but they're still kind of preserved. Like you go and you ride this like little train if you're on the Brazil side. You ride this walkway if you're in Argentina, but they're like, you feel like you're still in nature. Versus where you go to Niagara, you're just, yeah, like you're in the middle of, consumist world. And I don't know, in my opinion, it kind of sucks.
Yeah, it's difficult as well to navigate around the town of Niagara because like everywhere is like $1,000 to park, and then any time when you're walking around, you can just get like swept up in a bus of tourists, and then like you like in the ocean tsunami of tourist world with like following a person with a flag, and you're trying to get somewhere, and there's like 100, like two buses of people coming the other way. Yeah, Niagara, it's great. Everyone should go. Let's talk about working with Rush. What's the worst part about working with Rush?
The worst part about working with Rush, he's definitely a little bit. It's hard to get him to be flexible with certain things. I think that's definitely the hardest thing about working with him. He has a very like set mind on something, especially like on the directive side. So that was definitely one of the hardest things for me working with him. Like try to like, be like, dude, what if we, try this angle? I just thought about this. I mean, I feel like I was also way younger and way more like, I don't know, had like all these crazy ideas always. But yeah, I feel like he's an amazing director, and I think that's part of why he's so good at what he does, because he has a vision, and he is gonna put everything he has to go for that vision. And yeah, sometimes it's hard to get him to be like, okay, Rafa, let's try your idea on this cool angle that you want to try on this waterfall. Um, but yeah, it was an amazing opportunity working with such a talented director.
There's one part of the movie where he pretty much sends you back to like day one rolling practice. How did that feel?
Like it was great. I mean, honestly, it was cool. Like that was the other amazing part about working with him and Evan. Just like having these two like mentors too, that helped me out a lot. Like working on my technique and all the stuff that I needed to work on for such a big challenge. I've been running waterfalls for a long time, but these guys are just kind of like in the forefront, of the sport, and they've been doing it for longer than I had. So yeah, that was a really, really
They're
cool.
pretty great. They're great like bar mentors as well. They definitely know how to turn it up to 11 out there.
Yeah, there's definitely good memories for sure with those two.
Man, throwing it back, let's talk about mentors for a little bit. You were on some trips early on with like Scott Lengren and Ben Stooksbury and Chris Gilbullick. Like you were in one of those like early Pakistan trips, right?
Yeah. Well, Stooksbury is my original mentor. Like I used to be into freestyle up to 2006, and then when I met Stooksbury, that's kind of where my whole game changed in kayaking because like he's the one that taught me how to run waterfalls. We kind of teamed up for doing the first like full descent of the Alsa Seca back in 2006, and that's the guy that taught me how to go off my first waterfall in Veracruz. And yeah, I learned so much from him. I went on to go on a couple trips with him to India, to Brazil, to Pakistan. Yeah, and I don't know, dude. I truly believe in mentors. It's something that I think not a lot of people put the effort or even the mind into, but I truly believe that if you want to not just learn something, but excel at something, the easiest path to do it is finding a mentor. And it's not finding someone that's just a little bit better than you, but it's finding someone that's like 100 times better than you at something. So yeah, with Stooksbury, it was amazing learning, not just running waterfalls, but also how to, pull off an expedition, how to drop into the unknown. What do you need to check for? Like, what are all like it's kind of, there's a lot that goes to it, dropping into a first descent river, a river that no one has ever been in before, and doing it safely. So yeah, so that was.
What's your advice for finding a mentor for like the young kids, the up and comers who are like, all right, Rafa doesn't need to find someone 100 times better than me. Like, how do you track that person down? How do you approach them to be like, yo?
I think the first thing is just not being afraid. I mean, I have a bunch of kids like reaching out to me, and I feel like a lot of people just get stuck in like an Instagram DM, and just like, hey, do you do it? Like, but like the most success I've seen, at least like from the other end, from maybe like now I could be a mentor to someone's experience. Like the most success I've seen is someone that's willing to like go the way, like if you want to like get really good at creeking, well, maybe you just need to buy a ticket to White Salmon, and like go knock on a door or go stand at the pudding. I feel like people tend to like get stuck on the way, and not just applies for mentors, but applies for so many other things in life. I think that like success is fine with resilience, with actually going down the path and doing things.
Yeah, I agree with that like 100%. Like that's pretty much how I ended up being like working in Canada, was because I didn't have a job when I showed up here. I just showed up and I was like, yo, I want to go kayaking every day and I'll do whatever it takes to, to make that happen. And eventually they were like, the company I was working for at the time, Wilderness Tours, was like, all right, fine. Yeah, we got some grass that needs cutting. We'll figure it out.
Dude,
and that was like 7 years ago.
Dude, because if you think about the other side, if they're a company, they probably get a ton of emails, of people that want to work for them, but that just says that they want to work for them versus someone that's willing to, knock on their door. That says a lot about, the other side, the other, the human being that's actually, wanting to put the effort into something.
Yeah, I think that's choice. And are you mentoring kids right now? Like, you're in White Salmon at the moment, like a lot of up and comers. It's like becoming quite the scene. It's quite the place to be. Do you have someone who you're on the regular paddling with, who you're
totally
nursing through?
I always try to like, I don't know. I feel like it's kind of like it should be kind of part of our life, to do both, not just to like find mentors, but also to be able to share, experience and knowledge with other generations. So yeah, there's definitely a couple of people around here that I've been like trying to pal with. There's this kid actually that I met at Otter Bar last year. He was doing a clinic at Otter Bar with his dad, this kid, Axel. And yeah, I pal with him last year and I was like, damn, this kid is really good. And yeah, I've been trying to like pal with him as much as I can. He lives a little further down south, like 3 hours south. So yeah, whenever he comes up, he hits me up and I try to go out, pal with him. And, I think it's crucial for sure to like put the effort into that.
Yeah, agree 100%. Let's shift gears for a minute. You just started a new clothing line, which has a pretty strong message. I think the line is called Flow Collective, and your number one message is fuck dams, and you're donating a percentage of the profits to somewhere. Do you want to tell us about that? Like, I think it's a great message. What started it? What are you doing?
Yeah, so I mean, the original idea is that, I've realized that, I've been kayaking for like 17 years, and I've always felt that there's a gap for something. Like kayaking is a very strong community sport, more than almost like any other sport. And I remember, when I was a kid, I was a skateboarder, and it was so easy to go buy, either like a blind or a girl or a Thrasher sweatshirt, and put it on and feel like you're a skateboarder. I mean, like I remember when I was a kid, like if I was going to a party, I wanted to like to tell people that I'm a skateboarder, because that's who I am. And it's the same thing with kayaking. I feel like we're missing that right now, and that's kind of my goal, to eventually be that brand, an apparel brand that represents kayakers, so it's pretty obvious at the start that I wanted something with a voice too, like I think there's definitely a trend right now for for green. And I think that that's one thing that unites us all as kayakers, the fact that through rivers, through our stupid little Tupperware containers, we're able to appreciate nature more than any other human being. So it was pretty obvious that, the brand had to, have that twist, and then it all kind of made sense, and then we just donate 10% of our profits to be able to, not just like put it in words, but put it into actions. So far the first bit of the first donation, we organized a big river cleanup in Veracruz. And that's kind of what I want to do, not just donate it to others. I mean, for sure, we will donate at some point to American Whitewater and other entities that are already doing the efforts, but I definitely want something like pretty hands-on. I mean, we just launched 2 months ago, so it's definitely, pretty green project still, but I love the idea, and I'm super motivated to keep pushing in that direction.
Yeah, I think it's a great idea, and I think like we're kind of all in this together, so we do need to start thinking a little bit more about what we're doing to clean up our space and make sure that it's going to be clean for future generations as well. You're a Mexican living in America. You got a green card. You're set. They're not getting rid of you. What do you think about the wall?
What do I think about what? Sorry.
The wall. Trump's wall.
Oh no, the wall. I thought you said war. Sorry, your English accent kind of twists me off.
It's difficult, yeah, especially because I live here now and it's not very strong anymore. And I've only had a couple of cups of coffee this morning, and I'm kind of slurring. And
oh, that's right, you're in Canada. I got you. About the wall, well, I don't know, dude. It definitely kind of pisses me off a little bit. I mean, I definitely understand like some, like one of the sides to that, but I don't know, dude. I don't like getting too much into politics. I
think it's a more effective. I'm waiting for like Trudeau to announce the Northern Privacy Hedge. Just like a nice green, well kept 6-foot hedge along the line.
Yeah, dude. Honestly, yeah. I don't know. I think it just like expresses like that's. I'm a big like marketing person. I think that's like where I've like centered like all my efforts in the past 10 years. And in my like marketing mind, it's just such like I don't know. It's just like such a heavy thought, honestly. I think it expresses more than anything else. But,
you ever watch South Park?
Yeah.
There's that really great like I don't know, a couple of years ago there was a really great episode where like Canada builds a wall, and then one of the characters, I can't remember, is like running for president, and he's like gets fired in a cannon over the wall into Canada. It's a pretty entertaining episode.
I need to look for it.
Yeah, it's great, man. Highly recommend. All right, so I put it out there on the gram and on the Facebooks and things for some audience questions, and there was actually quite a lot of questions. I had to cut a few out because they were like kind of too serious, and they weren't really in the theme of this podcast. So apologies to those people. But there was like the normal ones, like how old were you when you started kayaking, blah, blah, blah. Someone who wanted a sauna hookup because you've got a sauna hookup now. But the one we're going to start off with is Dano Jones Kayak asks, what is your least favorite taco filling? Oh,
least favorite taco filling. I think veggie. I think that like taco, I mean, I don't know. I like if you're a vegetarian, you're kind of screwed in Mexico because it's
so screwed. Yeah.
Tacos are such a big like carnivore thing, and I'm starting to see some of these like vegetarian tacos, and definitely my least favorite. I think a taco needs to be meat. If I ever go vegetarian, I would probably lose tacos, and that would be really sad. But yeah, I think tacos have to be meat. My favorite is probably just good old pastor or some cheese with meat, something like that.
Oh, dang. So let's segue for a second here. Have you been hanging out with Rush a lot? Because he's been on that pretty heavy vegan train. The no meat. Do you have taco night at his house? What's going on?
Like, it's hard actually hanging out with him nowadays because he can't come out for just dinner. We gotta like cook something special for him. But no, I haven't hung out with him too much in the past year. He's been hurt, so it's been hard not being able to pal with him. I used to pal with him just about every day. And then he's been hurting from his shoulders. But it sounds like he's finally on a good path to recovery.
Yeah, he's on the up and up, I think, for sure.
Yeah. So pretty.
Except for, he's just on the veggie program, so I don't know how you have taco night and white salmon. All right, next question. We'll keep moving along. Bryce Kinsey asks, if you could go to Mars, who would you go with, and what would be the first thing you would show to all the Martians, and why?
Ooh, who would I go with Mars? Probably with my wife.
Yeah, that's smart. That's smart.
If you're gonna spend a lot of time somewhere, definitely I chose my life partner. And
yeah, I think if you go to Mars, you're not coming back. So
exactly. And what would I show them? I mean, it's kind of hard because I would probably want to show them kayaking, but I don't think they found water in Mars yet, have they?
I think they have frozen bodies of water, and they're like looking underground for flowing water.
Crabs.
I think it's probably there. I just listened to a podcast the other day with Brian Cox, like the physicist, who thought it was probably there.
Well, I feel like I would probably bring an iPhone, because I think an iPhone is what expresses a lot of, the highest expression of humanity right now. I mean, that's one sense, but I think if Martians were there, they would probably be like, dude, that's stupid. I bet they're probably smarter than us.
No doubt, dude. Okay, next question. Ben P. Osman asks, if you could set fire to one of your paddling buddies and send them off a waterfall, who would it be and why?
I don't know. I would say, I don't know, one of my Mexican friends, probably Iker. He's like my best bro in Mexico.
I'm sure he would excel at being on fire, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, I think it would be more just about like sharing an experience,
Yeah, that's tight. Tracy Lynn asks, if you could be pregnant on behalf of your wife, who is due to give birth any day now, would you?
Sure, I'll take it.
Really?
I mean, yeah, why not? I'm all about equality, about
cool.
Equal rights, and yeah, I think it's something that us men will never experience. It's definitely a burden that women have to go through. So
it's a burden. I'm sure about that.
I mean, you should see Fair right now. She's definitely so due date is tomorrow, so she's about 9 months pregnant right now, and she's definitely feels like she's about to burst.
I bet. Holy. Okay, next question. Moving on. I've just got 3 to go here. Rocco Hooser, if Wacker offered you a sponsorship, would you take it?
No, probably not. I'm stoked with Jackson. I've always been and always be stoked with their kayaks.
Chris Ryman asks, was your mustache affected by being on fire?
No, it was definitely a factor, but they made sure that I had enough gel all over my face. I posted that photo on my Instagram story the other day of me just like completely covered in that gel.
Yeah, I saw it. It looked gnarly.
Kind of gross, actually. But yeah.
Feel like you're just spreading cancer paste on your face. It was rowdy. And last question. I can't remember who asked this one. I had it written down. If you could be any other pro kayaker, who would you be and why?
Probably Benny. He's just the happiest person I know. So
he's so great. I just had him on the podcast a couple weeks ago. Talking about health and fitness again, because he's like, he's really into healthy eating and staying fit and stuff. All right, well, this has been he's the best. This has been Questions You Never Thought to Ask with Rafa Ortiz. I'm Seth Ashworth. If you don't already, please subscribe to this podcast, and I will see you, or you'll hear me. We'll speak again in 2 weeks, so I will see you then. Peace.
You.